RingGangRadio.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode.
Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Now, if you heard us, on the preview before, we complained about the undercard to a degree. Like I said, obviously it could have been better because Eddie has this thing. Like, Eddie is not capable of putting together a good undercard. He's done it before, especially for Anthony. He's done it before, but I think he's getting a little lazy with his match.
He's been real hit or miss lately. Heavily on the miss.
More miss than hits.
Yeah, exactly. Like earlier this year, Dude was actually on point.
He and Peel got a better ratio than Dude.
Yeah. But like early in the year, Dude was, with the exception of the Canelo cards, he was on point with his cards against his undercards. But something like this, for Usyk versus Joshua, this is where someone could have been elevated, especially because the fight is, what happened in the fight is still buzzing, and
I mean the only person who got elevated was Caleb Smith.
Yeah, exactly. If you've seen Caleb Smith versus Lennon Castillo,
brutal, brutal, man. God.
Yeah.
Brutal, absolutely, it was a sick knockout. And it's funny thing because Castillo is durable. Castillo went the distance with both Brown and Bivol, and Castillo knocked down Brown too, if I remember, in that fight. So it's Dude is known but durable, and then Callum Smith knocks him out with one right hand in 2 rounds, and it wasn't just Castillo. I thought Castillo was about to die. He Dude.
Yeah, he had a seizure. That leg was up, shaking and shit.
Yeah, bro was just his whole body got reset like a PC. Bro was not going nowhere. His face frozen, face trembling, legs trembling.
His leg, bro. His leg scared me the way it was just convulsing. I was
I was like, God damn, but props to DAZN for not keeping the camera on him and said they wide panned all that shit away, or they focused on.
Yeah, they didn't even show a replay. I was like, God damn, normally they show a replay. I kind of was pissed they didn't show the replay. I was like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah, they didn't even do the replay on the Twitter too. Because usually any type of knockout, they're on it though. But it took other people had to do via third party to capture that knockout.
That was kind of weak, man. I get it that you don't want to harp on it, but this is the hurt business. Niggas know what they sign up for. If a brutal knockout is shown, run that motherfucker back. I get it. I'm not trying to sound like no bloodthirsty ghoul. I'm just saying, niggas pay for knockouts, and then y'all, when one happens, y'all one on the side if it's too good for us or some shit.
Yeah, especially
yeah, it is my pet peeve though. Definitely, when they don't show knockouts after a knockout.
Yeah, so it's and I think because Dude had to get sent out on the stretcher, so that was the problem. So I think,
but still, dude, we've seen niggas literally die in the motherfucking ring, and they'll show that shit 17 times.
That's true.
Dude, Darchinian and Victor Burgos.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that shit was a near murder too. So it's you can't really pick and choose though. But I have to commend them because usually because DAZN be showing DAZN be really showing cuts and shit like that. They be their cameras be it'd be biology class, nigga.
You gotta rock one extreme over the other. Be balanced. No one's saying you gotta act like a fucking video cameraman from Maury and chase a motherfucker down and jump over seats. Hold on, nigga, you got knocked the fuck out. Okay, what you want to say out here now? No one's saying you gotta do all that. I'm just saying, just show the replay a couple times, and boom. I'm not saying chase after the ambulance with the camera on some you're the father, what you gonna do shit. Cause remember ESPN used to be getting disrespectful with it, motherfucker literally dying, falling off the stretcher, and ESPN we had the cameras rolling
Yeah, exactly. What's good, bro? I just say you on there. What's good, bro? How you, bro?
Well, good, nigga. Who's still popping with y'all?
Top 5.
Top 5 that are alive. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have room on the...
time. This nigga.
Now go ahead, Room.
You said you came at the right time?
Oh yeah, this nigga talking about drone footage of knockouts, nigga. That shit hard.
Drone footage of a knockout. Yo, if I see some shit like that on
What
World
you saying with the close-ups and shit?
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah.
But that was one of the highlights of the card. Other than that was the Florian Marcoux.
And the Pro Dan fight. And
I didn't like how Marcoux ended that fight though. That was weak.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like I said, man, I thought it would be a little bit more bloody, but I think Marcoux' condition, because I mean, I think he had a little trouble making the weight, so he was a little bit more conservative. Because I think, you know, how he was fighting. I mean, he showed movement and shit like that.
He made that fight way closer than it should have been. Like,
right.
He was losing the last couple of rounds. I'm like, dude, like.
Yeah,
and the commentators are making that fight seem like it was lopsided as fuck. I'm like, what fight are they watching?
Yo, and honestly, and the commentators that was a common theme, like for all the fucking fights. Like the commentary was like they were biased towards the home fighter, which was Marcoux. So it's like, but even in the split decision, like where it was like 99-91 for Pro Down, I'm like, no, it wasn't that type of fight. Like,
it wasn't that type, but I could see if somebody giving that fight a draw. Like,
yeah,
and that's a close fight. That was a real close fight.
You know, so yeah, if Marco won, you know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, this was one of the fights where he probably, I mean, he still talked his shit and whatever, but he could have fought a little bit better, you know.
And I feel like he a little chinny too, like because he got dropped last time, and I felt like this guy was hurting him with the few shots, but it just he didn't get that pep in his step until like the 8th or 9th round,
right? And
he needed that like earlier, so.
Right, and then of course we had like the co-main with Lawrence Okoli on there, and like I said, I mean that's my brethren right there, and it's good. But yeah, Eddie needs to put him with another big fighter at cruiserweight, like put him with a Bradis or Makabu or something like that. Like, you know, yes, you know, like I mean you can't, I mean because that was easy work. Like he at least, I mean he didn't last long, and that was good because usually. With Okoli, everyone likes to, you know, say he's kind of boring because he'll draw his fights up. But in this particular case, you know, dude ended it pretty early. You know?
Lately he's been kind of handling business. I don't get I know he's still awkward, but it looked like he's putting the shots together. He's not playing with his food like that. So I respect it, but he need a better opponent. And for the love of God. Stop trying to force Ricky Hatton's son on us.
Yeah, and I was saving him for last too. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
The Campbell Hatton fight. First of all, I'll let it be known. Campbell Hatton did not win the fight by any stretch. Not even a close fight. He didn't win this fight. Period. Like he got handled over 6 rounds.
That should have been like an easy 4-2 type of score to like give Hatton more than 2 rounds. I don't know what to see.
The rep as the judge. What was worse, that one or Macau Fox?
Nah, Fox was worse.
Fox was worse, you know.
But this is
because with Hatton, at least Hatton stayed competitive and was trading. If they could have gave Hatton and them a draw, and I don't think people would have bitched as much.
Yeah,
but it was a clearly.
I still would have bitched. He clearly lost that fight.
Yeah,
of course. But you know how in boxing, certain things you can kind of. Like the Fox shit is like that's the worst robbery. Like
I mean, like I understand what you're saying, LB, because you know the Hatton fight was a little more give and take, but it was clear Hamill was taking more than he was giving.
Especially the end. Like the end was looking like his father's fights with Collazo.
Yeah, I'm saying right. Like there was this is the thing. Like Eddie and Ricky Hatton, like they need to really sit down, and Matthew Hatton, you know, his uncle, they need to really sit down and be like, do we really want to have this kid grow and operate you know, in an environment like this, like put him on all these main cards, because he hasn't progressed, like he hasn't dropped, like he's getting the jobbers of jobbers, like the jobbiest of jobbers, like he hasn't dropped any of them, hasn't come close to dropping any of them. Like
the guy was 2-4, bro. I mean, 2-4. Was it the 6-day notice, or did I read that wrong?
yeah, that was a 6-day notice one, and he has no knockouts, and that jumper was styling on him,
bro. 2-4. Come on, man. That's embarrassing.
But that's the thing. Like this is how boxing works. If jobbers will soon find out that, like, look, they keep having him fight us because he hasn't gotten past our level. So a jobber's gonna look at it like, hold on, like, I could probably win this.
Yeah,
It's the reason why, like, say, I'll even bring it to Kimbo, like, how he, like, boxing, the learning curve is so steep on boxing that they had to bring in cruiserweights to fight him, cruiserweight jobbers.
and
So they're bringing in the jobber of jobbers for Hatton's kid right now. Because if you bring in anybody who, you might have a jobber that has a little too much experience,
right.
even though he a loser and all that shit. And that's what's happening. If you got to advance through levels for a reason.
Right.
If you taking too long on this level, somebody's gonna wise up and say, "Hold on, I could beat this guy."
If that jobber had any more power, Hatton would have been dropped or stopped. I mean,
Yeah, because I mean that jobber was.
If he had anything else, if he, power and shit, if he had a better damn work rate, if he had more speed, like
yeah, like I mean, like Martinez was landing.
Stop clowning.
Like Martinez was landing uppercuts on him, like because his guard was so open, like spinning him around, like and Hatton didn't know how to cut off the ring, so Martinez was just like, Martinez was like was on this Floyd shit, like bro was just like, was styling on dude like from 1%. Like it,
and it's like that fight could have been the first on the card. Like,
yeah,
that's still a good opportunity, but you got him fighting after them legit contenders, former ring champs. Like, really? Like,
yeah, no. And then it's up because it makes it worse because he got everyone can see that he got handled. Like this wasn't a fight. Like he didn't hurt that guy, like at all. And he got tired too. And that was his first.
Yeah, he really got tired in this one. It was like noticeable, but I think it's because the dude's work rate was so, like, he stayed on Hatton. Like, he didn't let him breathe. The only time he let dude breathe is when he was clowning, because he's like, fuck it, let me get my shine on, and his little dancing and antics. But
it was
not a good look, man. Not a good look at all.
Yeah, no, like I mean, dude needs a lot of work, and like I said, if Eddie and Ricky and Matthew Hatton keep putting him on this shit, like putting him on the stage, like he's gonna like you said, LB, some jobber's gonna be like, this dude is not on my level. Let me upset the apple cart. And I felt for Martinez too, because that was Martinez. I mean, you don't get opportunities like the ones that he got, and the fact that he got robbed to me, like it was sad to see.
If you look at his face, it's like he knew it was coming, but he was still disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Like I could, at his reaction, I was like, yeah, he knew he was gonna get jobbed, but it was like, come on, man.
Should have stopped that clowning and tried to go for that knockout.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. I was hoping because I mean, because there were some times where
because he was feeling himself too much. I'm like, dude, Jody gonna rob you.
He was on the Sugar Ray Leonard shit real quick too.
Like, nigga, like cut the fucking Sugar Ray Leonard shit out. You're not Roy Jones. You're not fucking Prince Nassim. You're not Muhammad Ali. Just take it to this kid and knock him the fuck out. But,
and the funny thing too is like there were times where he had Hatton in some trouble. Like he had multiple.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
You literally had him on the precipice, like you had him on the edge, like he was right there, like.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, I mean, to me, they should probably run it back, but I'm pretty sure having them like, yeah, no, like you good, bro. Like, here's your 1,000 quid or whatever the hell that you're.
Here's your 1,000 quid.
Yeah, get out of here.
What he gonna get his match, and that nigga, somebody gonna finish their food. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
that's definitely coming. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely coming because, like I said, fourth fight hasn't hurt a job. I mean, if he at least dropped one of them, like okay, he just maybe he just needs to put his offense together a little better. But no, he's not hurting these guys at all.
He's not even physically strong.
Look,
these guys just holding him in the clip.
I know somebody's watching that fight and they like, oh yeah, this is my come up. This is my come up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Somebody's looking. He's a come up for a nigga.
somebody with 2 fights is looking at that like a come up. You right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I could take Ricky Hatton's kid. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me. Y'all make sure y'all answer that phone when they call.
Yeah. Yeah. It's coming in. And guaranteed.
And with the name, he already got a target on his back.
Oh yeah, big time. And watch it. It's gonna be like, yeah, you know, he got called on 7-day notice or some shit like that. As in, like, you know, yeah, we can have someone that has a full training camp, you know, try to get into the ring with this kid right now.
Nah, you gotta keep him as a 2-week notice guy, cause
yeah,
a job, dude. I feel like we could trade somebody to beat his kid. Like, if you give us them a month.
Yeah, you might not even been trained that long, man. Because that wasn't that. Cause all I remember was Pat talking about how trash, you know, Little Hatton was, and I was like looking at the guys referee was fighting. I was like, this guy might win the fight, you know, even before it started. And I was like, yeah, this dude, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have it, and that's the thing is, like, he needs to. He doesn't have it in the sense like he's a finished product and he just doesn't have it, because there's plenty of that. He doesn't have it because he's not a finished product. Like, he didn't have, like, he went straight out of the amateurs into pro. Like, and
he's not even grown. He doesn't have his man strength. He needs to lift weights.
Yeah.
He needs to develop a little more power and
something
physical strength.
He makes me kind of more grateful for Eubank Jr. and fucking Shane Mosley Jr. at this point, watching that shit.
Yeah, because they even look better. But yeah, they got to go back to the drawing board on Campbell. We hate to see him lose this early, but it might be the best thing for him. So I'm not saying he's not taking this shit serious, but they just need to retool this kid, because
right.
like Rome said, he's a come up waiting to happen. Like, somebody's looking at dude like, yeah, I could Robsy Ramirez this dude or something, like.
Yeah, because I mean,
I could pull off an upset and change my life type shit.
I mean, if he has to drop down a division if he needs to or something like that, you know, something. If 135 just not optimal for, or he's just, that's it. He's just something.
He's not big enough for 135. That's why I feel like he need more strength. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I think because he don't look like a little kid. Like, he looks like filled out, but like he just be stronger.
Right. Absolutely.
I would keep him at 135. Sure, anything he might be going to 140, but he need to handle 135 first.
Right, because like I said, I mean, he hasn't stopped the job, or he hasn't. Yeah. He has a big target on his back, and everyone knows it, because a lot of people were not happy with him. Everyone could see there was some bullshit. You know, he got the hometown decision. You know, everyone could see that was, and it's a disservice to him in his development. But
can't even give you the matchroom draw, and
yeah.
but it told us once again, whenever someone gets screwed on a Hearn undercard, you know Joshua's gonna lose.
Yeah, basically the marquee fight undercard always loses, and that's a perfect segue into.
Is it either gonna be Wild? Is it either gonna be White or Joshua? Whoever's the marquee guy for that card.
Right. You know, and it brings that's a good segue into the main event: Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. First of all, Alexa, it was a damn good fight. I will put this there. It was a damn good fight. Like, it's fun. It's good to see a high level type of fight on, with top fighters in the division. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yeah, there was nothing wrong with the action, anything like that. No, and it definitely wasn't no sparring session. Like,
it was letting hands go. It was putting gloves to purpose.
Yeah, because if you look at both of them, I mean, obviously Joshua's eye got compromised, and Usyk had trademarks over both eyes and was leaking. So, them cats was hitting each other. You know what I'm saying? But I think also another thing that too, and this is something that happens a lot with fights, is most people were dismissive of Usyk because they've never watched them fight before. Now, at the minimum, if you saw his heavyweight fights and you judging off that, hey, that's fine, because he hadn't looked hot at heavyweight. But if you never saw him before, you think he's just some random Euro CAC or whatever the fuck, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, and then this is why when I said when we did that poll topic the other time on like fighters who's more capable of causing an upset, and I picked Usyk because Usyk was already a pound for pound fighter, unlike the other three choices on the list. Like,
yeah, I didn't know niggas was going to get robbed on the undercard, man. Like, this is like the third time that's happened. Like, it's almost like, damn, and they be letting they take the bets off by then. Like,
yeah, they do.
Like, cause everybody would know. Like, if somebody gets robbed on the Hearn undercard, oh shit. Bet for the other guy in the main event.
Yeah, and that's that late money push. And so and like I said, but Usyk though is still. But there was a lot of questions like, could he actually handle a super heavyweight like Anthony Joshua? Could he? I mean, and he was fighting at his career highs at 221. Could he actually do his style with being that heavy for the once? And the answer is,
hold it. Like, his frame don't look small like that.
Yeah. I mean, because in context, because we're used to heavyweights being hell of a lot bigger than the man. This is the modern heavyweight.
You look bigger than Chris Bird ever looked. Shit.
Yeah, facts.
Like, you only the Galata fight. I think you can remember Chris Bird looking like ripped. Like goddamn, like. That's prime Chris Bird.
Like Usyk. I mean, Usyk wasn't ripped. Like, he was clearly in the best
shape as fuck. Like,
he was
big. Like,
but it looked, because I mean, Anthony Joshua still had a noticeable size advantage over him. So, and this is where I think, and this is where Anthony Joshua made the first mistake. When you're that big, you got to impose your size early. This is what Chisora did. This is why Chisora had the success he got with Usyk, because Chisora did not have he didn't have the technical foundation that Usyk had. But he had the chin, he had determination, and he had the size, and he had
aggression.
Yeah, and he got.
That's what Joshua was fucking up at.
Yeah, and Chisora had to the point where he was able to tire out Usyk, so Usyk couldn't go into his second gear. And so by the time Chisora got tired, Usyk was too worn out to actually try to, he tried, but he couldn't do it because he just didn't have the,
that extra push.
He didn't have the extra push because he got worn, and that's what made that fight so close. And it was almost a draw in that fight. And this is where Joshua failed to establish himself.
That fight wasn't that close.
Yeah, it was like in the first 4 rounds too. Joshua let Usyk get his game plan going ASAP. He got his jab going, he got his movement going. Like, Joshua just seemed a little bit too passive. Like, he's going. Like, you gotta do something to stop him.
That's his nature. Like, that mean streak. It feels like, I don't like. It's kind of shitty, but
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have that dog that a lot of the fighters say that quote unquote dog. He just doesn't. You don't have it in him. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a dog at this point because, like I said, I mean, a lot of people drop their opening. I mean, Crawford drops his opening rounds, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have a dog. It's just, and it was just bad strategy for the open to let Usyk establish himself in the fight early. And then
but the difference is Crawford shows that dog. The dog eventually comes out with Crawford, but Joshua, we still waiting, just like we waiting for the tiger to come out of Algeria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dog's usually in the cage. But Joshua got hard, and everybody saying Joshua was trash and buns. Man, fuck out of here.
No, absolutely not. Because like I said,
dude's heavyweight resume is by far the best in the business. So, he lost again, but shit. He ain't
I mean, he definitely did, but he didn't lose because, Joshua made mid-fight adjustments, and people who don't have a good technical foundation don't make mid-fight adjustments. Yes, that's I've said that about other fighters who can't do this, but Joshua made it.
And he looked like the heavyweight version of Broner.
Yeah.
Like, the punches, nigga. What you doing?
Yeah, like, you're the bigger guy, but once he made the adjustments, Usyk was visibly uncomfortable when Joshua made his adjustments. I mean, Joshua went to his body, which I didn't think Usyk was expecting, because every time he did, dude was kind of a little hyper.
Should have done that a little sooner.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he had done that sooner, Usyk wouldn't been moving around as much as he did to get his game plan going. And the fight was pretty close up, through the first 8 rounds, like
8th or 9th. It was really compelling. I mean, that shit was really compelling. Joshua was showing beautiful head movement.
Yeah,
his robotic.
Yeah, like, I mean, dude, you can tell, like, dude was pairing, like, you can see the parrying counters he was doing, like, he was doing his thing, like, people who can't box don't do this shit.
No,
But
he
and
was
especially
boxing, man. He was just like
He-
the stamina and getting hit as many times as he was. Yeah, it was tough.
yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah, because he let Usyk land those too many left hands. Like Usyk's left hands, like when they landed, bro was like it was snapping his back, and Usyk was wobbling Joshua too. Something I was not really expecting, for that to happen. I thought Joshua would just eat those, but there were a couple of them that Usyk just had Joshua all out of sorts. And that
Yeah, he was hurting him too much for my liking.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's done them 3-4
What was
times
doing
that shocked the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
But
so,
3 times I was like, whoa, like I'm sure like everybody was.
yeah, but what the difference between what made this fight more compelling is it made like the fact that Joshua was adjusted and was actually landing and actually was starting to hit and bust him up around the eyes and bleeding was the fact that Usyk has a vicious second gear. If you get him to that second gear, like he's like a monster. He's like a demon. Like if you ever seen the Michael Hunter fight, that's a perfect example of someone who forced Usyk into a second gear, and Usyk damn near almost killed the guy in the ring. And he's done this plenty of times. The greatest fight was probably the only example of someone who actually was able to weather the storm of his second gear to get a close fight out of Usyk. And he did, and then, so Usyk turned it up, and Joshua didn't. And this is where the dog was missing. Like when Usyk understood the assignment, he knew he had to take the title away because he's grizzled. He's a road warrior. So Joshua just did not. He kept basically he fought small, and this was killing me. I was like, don't fight small. Like use your size. Like you gotta go in, and he just didn't do it. And he let Usyk slowly eat him up. And then in the final, 35-40 seconds, Usyk went for broke and almost got the stoppage. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and truth be told, I did think someone rang that bell a little bit early. I don't know about y'all, but someone rang that bell a little bit early.
There was some Saved by the Bell shenanigans to her a little bit there.
Yeah, because when Joshua started getting the hands put on him on the ropes, I was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. Joshua looked like he was like. I think by the time the movements and the feints that Usyk was giving him, I think at that time, late in the fight kind of took its toll mentally and physically. So like, bro, like he was defeated. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, Usyk got like a second and third win. It felt like, and it just was like too much. And you could tell by obviously once the round 12 fucking stopped the fight.
And that
straight to the stool.
And that was the optics of all that. Because like I said, because Joshua was noticeably bigger, and there shouldn't be someone someone getting knocked around like that by someone who's small like that. Like the way Joshua went down to his stool at the end of the fight was like how Danny Jacobs pretty much went down to both knees after the Triple G fight. Like dude knew he got put through it. Like and then Jacob's trying to have like Rosie had something like, you got to get up, bro. Like don't collapse like that. And it's just the optics. It didn't look
like that's what Roy was saying. Like Roy was saying the same thing on commentary, that like you don't want to do that as a fighter in a close fight. You look like that at the end of the fight because that could sway the judge's decision. Like that final round.
I'm going on this skin of my teeth type of fight. Nah, don't do that shit.
Yeah. Roy and shout out to Roy Jones. Finally, fucking I miss Roy on commentary. He was great.
Yeah. Roy did his thing. It was good to have a balance because for once, the commentary was a little homerish, but it wasn't like they were doing a whole bunch of inside jokes and a whole bunch of shit that.
I'll take the homerish over like just terrible.
The more jabs with fucking whoever
Mannix or Grisham or whatever the fuck.
No, Roy Jones about the stability.
Jim with the pom poms. I'll take that over the fucking Mannix and his stale ass jokes and his disrespect for Mora. Like
you could tell Roy kind of was like us. We all thought AJ was gonna win, but we just kind of were disappointed in the performance. Somewhat disappointed with the performance.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed, man. Look, AJ's biggest flaw showed up again. He thinks too fucking much, man.
Yeah,
it's like. For that fight, he needed to be attack mode. It wasn't don't try to battle this dude with jabs. Yeah, you jab more, but jab as a means to get on the inside and go to work. Like he kept trying to like he was respecting Usyk a little too much. Like I hate the like this. Honestly, this should have been like the McCline Bird fight. I know I'm using Chris Bird as an example, but it's because I'm looking for an example where you have a skilled smaller guy versus a bigger guy that's decent, or what. I'm not calling Joshua decent. Joshua's absolutely better than Jamil McCline. I'm just saying it's the same fight dynamic.
No, you're absolutely right.
And honestly, that fight dynamic was worse because dude was like 66 pounds heavier than Bird.
Yeah, and let's say,
still 6'6", 6'7", whatever. Fucking Joshua was only like maybe 21 pounds heavier, 20 pounds.
Yeah,
I think a height advantage of only like maybe 3 or 4 inches.
Right,
But
so
when you get a motherfucker that's 6 inches or more than you, that's a fucking advantage. And 60 pounds. So, but my point is, McCline, he went out there swinging and just balls to the walls, going hard at Bird, dropped him early, everything. Like he wasn't letting up. Then Bird had to come back, dig deep, and fucking start outboxing him. And then he had him out on his feet, and he turned the fight around, and it was a close victory that he got. Joshua needed to cut all the boxing pretty shit out and just go at dude.
right.
He has the quick enough hands. He got the power. He got the strength. But I don't think he believed his chin like that.
I feel like the Ruiz, to add on to that, I feel like the Ruiz equilibrium shot kind of just fucked his psyche up. Every time he gets hit or something a little too hard, he kind of shells up a little bit, at least mentally. He just kind of gets reluctant or some shit.
I can see that.
And also,
That's what I was telling you last night. Shut up, like yo. Ever since that big nigga knocked him out, he ain't been the same. Even though he won, he was like, he's on the next one. I'm like, yeah, but he still ain't the same, nigga.
but but also the thing with that too is like because the fight plan that he did for the rematch, I think he kind of applied that to his other fights, like for the especially for this one too. I think he was on some one plan fits all type of shit. And I think that's why it's like, you know what, if I just box with Usyk, maybe that would be. And I'm not saying that Joshua can't box. Joshua can absolutely box. But
yeah, he could box, but he need to go back to where like when he was fighting Povetkin and Klitschko, like that aggressive boxing where he kind of puts the punches together more. Like this was like a mix between Joshua Parker.
It was more of a style. He was more styling rather than head hunting.
Yeah, like, and even then, it's like the body shots. Where was I didn't put the punches together, and it was still a competitive fight. Like he won at least 4 or 5 rounds, but
yeah, absolutely.
He almost had it to where he could have made the fight a draw, or he could have took it.
He could have stole it if he
could have stolen it. Like,
especially being home, in the UK, he could have definitely stole it if he put the pedal. I don't know.
Because the thing is, anytime he hurt or pushed Usyk back, he would let Usyk respond. Like sometimes, if you push a guy back, you gotta keep pushing him back. Like you gotta do like Spence does, where
I don't know. It was too much your turn, my turn type shit. I don't like that.
Perfect. Yeah. That's a great way. Yeah, he said it better than I could. Yeah, your turn, my turn. It felt like a cloudy.
No, that is very, very annoying because it's like you could be using this time to assert yourself, assert the pressure, assert your dominance, but then it's like, okay, well, no, I'm just I get my turn. Let me see how you respond. No, don't let him respond.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're gonna do your turn, my turn, you gotta make sure your turn is better than their turn. And Joshua could never do that. The times where it was like his turn would be better, and he lands a shot that rocks Usyk, and Usyk goes back, and he's like, okay, like Usyk felt that one. He would fucking pause or slow down for like 2 seconds, and then Usyk would pop him back with 2 jabs or a left hand.
I mean, and honestly, the funny part is when he's doing his turn, it was mostly just jabs, and a lot of times the right wasn't even getting in clean. It was grazing him. Usyk was blocking it a little bit, whereas Usyk was clearly rocking Joshua back with 2-3 punches.
because Joshua was landing those force shots where it's the force of the power like hitting you. Those doesn't have to land clean, but the impact is sending you back. And when you land those type of punches that are not clean but forceful, it's like you said, you gotta fucking you gotta keep going, you gotta turn it up. It's like Jermaine Taylor had a good habit of that. Like he'll throw the double jab. The double jab is nice, but that bow and arrow telegraph right hand, it don't have to land clean, but when he launch it at you, if you don't get out of the way of it, if you try to just block it, or you stand there, or you don't move, it sends you backwards. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times Taylor would follow up, and he would throw a couple more shots at you, and he would win that portion of the round. You do that enough times, you win that whole round. So it's like you gotta know the type of punches you land and throw. Like that's one thing Joshua wasn't doing. Like he would never just say, "Okay, let me turn it up now."
And I'm just reading the comments on there. For I know Rusty, says, I know Usyk is a very high level guy, and he would have made it difficult. But I was waiting for Joshua to get inside and put his weight on him. Yeah, we all were. I was waiting for it too. I was like, because I was like, because someone for Usyk, like, because Joshua had a Chico, he had the technical foundation to do it, but he just didn't use his physical gifts. If he used his physical gifts more, we would have had a different fight.
That's why I want to see the rematch, and he's right. Take the rematch right away, and it's one of those fights where, like, dude, if you even just throw more punches, you could win this shit. It's like it is not. It's almost like the Charlo Castaño. Like the one guy has to fix just one or two things, and he could win. The other guy has to damn fight his best again.
Right, and then DZ said also too, like Roy said, rough him up and get the job done early. Which is what I was hoping he would have, but I guess he was afraid that Usyk would put his moves in his machine and use it against him later. Usyk, and that's the funny thing too, is like Usyk didn't end up, he didn't even do it. That's the problem. Like Usyk had his plan, like he didn't do anything, he didn't mimic anything that Joshua was really doing. He did his plans. So it's like, but yeah, Roy was definitely on point with what he was saying against that. But yeah, I mean, Joshua may actually have a block in it. He might not trust his chin anymore.
And he need to see that damn sports psychiatrist Froch saw something.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, it's because now obviously, and like I said before, I didn't lay down a prediction because first of all, I was not happy about Joshua Fury falling apart, and I'm like, you know what? If that fight's supposed to happen, I'm gonna let the boxing gods do what they need to do for this and Fury Wilder 3, and they laid down the judgment for this fight. Like, I mean, it was, it's unfortunate, and like I said, but I'm good with it because, like I said, I rate Usyk, and I was not a fan of Usyk early on in his career. I wasn't, but due to his quality, and if he was gonna win, he was going to win. So I'm cool with it. Like, I'm not, I can't be upset with it because Usyk is a damn good fighter.
And he shows, honestly, that's textbook boxing.
Yeah.
People think you have to be reckless to throw a lot of punches, but if you're technically sound, you're just kind of just going into like warp or hyperspeed a little bit. Instead of, if you normally throw a double jab, you're going to throw a triple jab. If you're going to throw a lead left, you're going to throw two lead lefts. And he was landing them shit. That's aggressive boxing. It wasn't, just let me just put my hands down and just throw myself at Joshua flailing away and, see if something can happen. Like, it's a difference. Like, and that's how you really put a stamp on the fight.
I think it was like the mid rounds as well. The rounds that AJ won, like that was it 4, 5, 6, something like that. It seemed like I guess Usyk was conserving energy for championship rounds.
You see, that's the thing, though. Is like, I mean, I hate that mentality of fighting. Because like if you because like I said, because that strategy can easily get away from you. I mean, this is what cost Badu Jack.
That's a really fucking stupid mindset, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's what cost Badu Jack the light heavyweight title against Superman, because he did that stupid shit. So. It's like like conserving energy is one thing, but Joshua's conditioning was not the reason why he lost his fight. He was at 240. Like if it was like 250 and above, like he had been before, I'd be like, okay, maybe conditioning play. But dude was in shape. Dude was physically in shape. Because if he wasn't,
he didn't even use a lighter like his lighter self, he didn't even use that effectively. Like, dude was supposed to be like getting on the inside and mid range, ripping Terry Norris combos.
He was bouncing. He was bouncing around a little bit, but not like the AJ fight, the Ruiz 2 fight where he was bouncing around for all 12. But he was on his toes for a little bit, but his footwork still has a,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because like, if you're winning that look,
close by or mid range, like he had the perfect game plan to beat Ruiz. He didn't have to knock him out, in my opinion, to get that. He did what he was supposed to do in the Ruiz fight, get over that, but he still can't. It's like Rusty said, like you got to get over all of that. Like once you beat Ruiz, like you beat the demons. You know, let that shit die in that fight. That don't mean you take every fucking fight and you put the Ruiz game plan to it.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
and that's what I'm saying. Like
that movie to Usyk. You go to Usyk.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, yeah, that's why you can't, because that's why I felt like it was cookie cutter. I was like, you can't use a fight plan for one fighter and think you'll use it and you can use it for another fighter, and that's where his trainer was at McCracken. Like that's that's where they fell, and trainer didn't do shit in Anthony Joshua's corner. Like he was like, okay, you're doing good or whatever. Like there was nothing coming out of that corner that I thought was constructive for what Usyk was doing. Like Usyk was already honed in, and he did his thing, and then the official cards had the fight close after 8 rounds, but all 3 judges gave Usyk the last 4 rounds, which, like I said, which is in line for what we all saw. So like there was no controversy. Like Usyk won that shit, whether he had it from 115, 113 to 117, 112ish, maybe somewhere around that area. Usyk won.
Joshua, his rounds, the rounds for Joshua were hard to score for him.
Yeah, I think he had like 2 good rounds, maybe 3, but
maybe 2 or 3 clear. 2 or 3 clear.
Yeah, 2 clear rounds, and then maybe 3 swing rounds.
and I'm a Joshua fan. Even I was like, something like, even I was shaking my head like, he's not winning these rounds clearly. Like he's not. So I was. So it was a lot of different things though. But
how much furniture did you toss around the house, bro?
Bro, remember what I said too. I'm good with what happened because of like.
You couldn't look to it that much. You sent how many things you sent into orbit? What did you throw into outer space?
But like I said, though, I wasn't happy. But like I said, it wasn't anything like. I mean, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like the fucking Triple G Canelo 1 shit. Where I sent some shit into orbit. You know what I mean? So. But I was good with what happened because, like I said, because my eyes told me that Usyk won this fight, and how I felt about this fight, like it was. I'm good with what happened. You know what I'm saying? And I hate
it wasn't no fuckery. Usyk won clearly.
Well-deserved victory for sure for Usyk.
I mean, honestly, the way I feel about it, I think I would still pick Joshua for the rematch. I look at it as like the Ruiz fight. Like he could just fix a few things and he wins. I think he could even knock Usyk out. When he goes into the rematch, he's going into it as to knock Usyk out.
He needs to add somebody to his corner.
Go ahead, P. I mean, Pilot.
I was gonna say you need to add somebody to his corner because you mentioned McCracken or whatever. His corner, all these AJ fights, his corner don't ever seem existent. So he needs to get somebody. He needs to get something in the camp or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be time. It might be time for a shakeup. And LB, I think Rusty agrees with you too. Like, yeah, I mean, like Joshua can still win the rematch, and I think probably the odds for that fight will probably either be closer or they'll probably be both. It'll probably be both like minus like 110 or some shit like that. Both of them.
Yeah. Like when he was taking stuff off his punches and getting to Usyk faster, like to cut off the ring and take the deep first step. Like I know in basketball how some people call it a jab step, but in boxing it's still a jab step, but like go deep.
Right.
Like Joshua needs to implement that. Like he go deep on some of those first jab steps. And close the distance and get right into damn Usyk's wheelhouse and just start ripping shots. Like I don't think Usyk is all around hard fight like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like
he got more tired from just throwing a lot of punches. I don't even know the punch stats because I don't remember seeing the punch stats for the fight, but it looked like Usyk threw a decent amount and landed a decent amount.
He did.
The accuracy.
You know, actually, let me pull them up right now because they are out there. I mean, and so is the card actually. Let me see.
That was a great fight, though.
It wasn't fight. It was nice to see a good, clean heavyweight fight for a change.
Yeah.
No fuckery, no looking lazy and tired. You know,
No
you ain't
Falcon
gotta
punches.
keep Morton Holmes, but give me a decent fade.
No Falcon punches needed.
Yeah, and then the one thing I was even more that I was impressed by too is, like I said, I mean everything was just like it was like humble. Like you don't need any extra shit in there. Like they acted like fighters. They did like fight, and they ended it like fighters. Like no extra shit. It was a high level fight between top fighters, and that's what boxing needed. And like I said, the fact that it was a big fight and it's still buzzing. So people were like, like I said, it did what it needed to do. And okay, here we go. I got the final punch stats right here. So total punches by Joshua landed 123. He landed 52 jabs and 71 power punches. Usyk was 52 jabs, so they were equal on that, and 96 power punches for 148 total punches.
What was Joshua's total punches?
123.
Hold on, total thrown. I'm talking about what's the total thrown?
Oh, thrown. Oh, excuse me, 641.
641, and Usyk
And Usyk was 529.
Damn. So Joshua threw more. It didn't even feel like that.
It didn't feel like Joshua threw more.
Yeah, because it feel like the numbers should be reversed.
Yeah, and those are the things too. Usyk's landed punches is the most landed on Joshua by a Joshua opponent.
What's the percentage? What was the percentage of Usyk landing? Does it say?
It's 20. Yeah, total 20%. He landed 28% of his punches. Joshua 19%, or 19.2%.
That sounds about right.
Joshua was throwing those jabs. See, Joshua wasn't throwing a lot of meaningful punches.
He was trying to get the jab going, but it was kind of out of desperation.
Cause nigga, move your fucking feet, man.
He's such a good athlete, but his robotic footwork, man, like shit. It's just not fluid. I don't know. It's just not.
Dude, footwork like Alonzo Mourning. Like nigga, if you don't move your fucking like jab deep and get in there and but still, Joshua. I hope the rematch could be early next year or.
Yeah, Eddie's talking about, I think was it January or February? I think February too. Like, I mean,
don't hold up the division. Not give enough time for everything else is falling. I want to start seeing some different matchups. I want to see Juggernaut get in the picture somehow. Like,
and another I definitely want to bring up too is like people like you cannot because I've seen people downplaying Usyk like like Joshua lost to this like Joshua didn't lose to a fucking jobber, people. Like, Usyk is a quality fighter. Like, there's no shame. Like I said before, like, if Usyk lost the fight, then he would have been good because, like I said, because everyone's like, he's still qualified, but maybe it would have been, a mountain that might have been too high for him to reach at the time or whatever. And the same way, if it happened before, in the other way in reverse, like it did, it's like, Usyk is just being the better fighter. But you can't be like, oh, Usyk, where are all the heavyweights really gone and blah, 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 blah. Like, Usyk, you can't downplay Usyk's win like this. Like, Usyk is a road warrior. Like, dude has won all his belts and important fights on the road in other people's countries. Like, do you know how rare that is? Like, he's crazy. Yeah, like... Yeah,
Usyk deserves all the props and respect in the world. I like shout out to DZ. He kept Usyk on his feet a while for his entrance, got his legs warmed up.
and yo, DZ, thank you for reminding me. And there's another thing I want to bring up too. Like, you can see, it felt like a big fight over there. Like, you see what Eddie did with the whole pageantry and shit like that. That's what's missing in American boxing events. Like, the closest maybe...
Facts.
Yeah, the closest maybe, or probably Canelo's cards, or maybe... I think example was given Spence versus Mikey Garcia. Like,
but damn, man, when you have an intro that good, you supposed to win. Damn it, like Joshua, like you gotta let Rocky down. Like dude, fucking, there's no easy way out. Like
Yeah, I mean,
You
and
don't dare waste that.
then that's after the hard Afrobeats intro too. I was like, oh shit, like they're not fucking around with this shit.
Like,
okay.
damn, you don't lose to no fucking Rocky music. They're not Rocky 4, man. Like,
And someone remarked on Twitter, isn't that the Rocky that Apollo Creed died in? And I was just like, really?
I do give AJ props because AJ don't make excuses. You know, I mean, I respect he takes.
hell yeah.
He took both losses in grace and like the better man won. Whatever he does.
That's why I think he'll win the rematch.
Well, I'm pretty sure he said he lost to Ruiz by a lucky punch in the first.
He mentioned it after, yeah, but.
Yes, he did.
That lucky punch might be a Nigerian thing. I don't know. Might have to do some research.
For the most part, he's gracious. He don't have a book of excuses. So I'll give him,
Ha ha ha. Yes.
You got all easy, bro.
I mean, I guess if that's the case, then Lomachenko is an honorary Nigerian. Then.
Yeah, facts. You Ukrainian? I don't know.
Stupid. Dude, man. But yeah, Usyk. I mean, as of right now, you can't in less than 20 fights, dude was an undisputed champion at cruiserweight, and now he holds 3 of the 4 heavyweight belts. Dude is pretty much is closing in on a Hall of Fame spot if he's not there already.
The cruiserweight shit that made him Hall of Fame. Like this shit right here, like he's going into damn like heavyweight greatness, all time status now with this.
Yeah, obviously, if Usyk is obviously the last man standing, he's undisputed heavyweight. He
has to win the rematch, though. He has to win the rematch.
Yeah,
definitely. Joshua is on a whole nother level when it comes to rematches. People might say he's the best rematch fighter.
Yeah, he's only had one rematch.
That's what I'm saying. If he knocks out Usyk in the rematch, people gonna start saying Joshua's killer on these rematches.
Right,
like Lennox Lewis.
Yeah. See, there you go. But no one don't say that with Tarver.
No.
I mean, because Dawson kind of ruined that a little bit, though.
Yeah, he did.
Because you'll start like, well, look what he did with what's his name? What's it? Eric? The first thing, the nigga who broke his jaw.
Eric Harding. Yeah,
Eric Harding. Oh, look at the Harding rematch. Look at the Roy Jones rematch. Look at Glenn Johnson. You'd be like, what about that boy from Connecticut? But what happened there? Chad Dawson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but and like I said, that's one thing. Like, if Joshua didn't have any heart, then Joshua wouldn't be like, well, I'm gonna book my rematch clause immediately. Yeah, February, let's do it. Yeah, most people would be like, kind of moving around a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's hell of a long. That's enough time to get your shit back together. He didn't get his ass whooped. Like, he lost. Like,
yeah, as long as his eye injury is nothing like fractured or anything like that, I'm cool. Yeah, turn around. Yeah, make that turn around.
Get this fucking sport moving, man. Like, yeah. I'm tired of this heavyweight saga for the last 3 years. It's it's been going on since Ring Gang started. Like, it'd be nice to see this shit end. Like, it'll be almost like a season ending.
Yeah, and then that's a perfect segue to our final topic of